I'm going to be doing a cauliflower yolk sung. I'm going to be cooking the cauliflower from raw. I want to break them down into tiny individual florets. Okay, and this is dead simple. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Bring it right over actually. You can see each individual floret. All we're going to do is break those florets down. I've done this dish several times. In fact, I think it's I think this dish actually is in the Complete Chinese Takeaway Cookbook actually. And it cooks fine. You really don't need to cook it any further down. By the time we've cooked this and we've put the sauces through, it's nice and tender. The cauliflower is never bony. I mean, even like you say, you see that's a bit of a chunk. All I do now is just break that chunk down into smaller pieces. So any larger pieces you've got, like that piece, just break it down into its own individual pieces. Then with the stalk, we just chop the stalky bit up nice and small as well, and that gets thrown in as well. So there's my cauliflower ready. For the cauliflower yolk sung, I've got a little bit of grated ginger. I have been a little bit stingy on the ginger. I just couldn't be bothered to peel another piece, so just use the piece that I've got. We would normally put garlic through this as well, and for obvious reasons, and you guys who've watched this for the last 3 weeks know that I don't normally cook with garlic because Joe's allergic to it, or it just upsets her anyway. I've got some nice shredded or diced down spring onions, some diced onion and some diced carrots. Okay, then obviously my florets. These are going to be served in my iceberg lettuce. Now, I've showed you this before. If you go onto my YouTube, or if you might have seen it on one of the shows on the Amazon show. Basically, you get a head of lettuce, and all you do is you run cold water, and what it does, it fills the leaf up and it peels away as a whole piece. So, and this is what we're going to use it. So basically, it's like a Chinese burrito or a taco kind of thing. So we're going to put the filling in here. The only thing that I didn't pick up, and there was a reason being, is that we didn't pick any cashew nuts up. The cashew nuts just obviously add that little bit of crunch and creaminess. We're not doing that because we are trying to be good. Since my operation, I have put on quite a lot of weight, and this is day 5 of eating quite clean. I am going to use oil tonight. It's not about emitting everything, it's just trying to be sensible and cutting calories where I can. Another thing as well, guys, you could use the rice vermicelli. If you break that up, fry it off in a little bit of oil, it goes nice and crispy. It just adds another texture to the dish. Cauliflower yolk sung. On goes the heat. We add about a tablespoon of garlic oil. You can just use normal oil. Now, just so I don't burn my aromats, I'm going to get my onion in first. Now I can get my ginger. And if you like your spring onion like I do, cooked really well, we're going to get that in next. If you like it with a little bit of bite still, you can put it right in at the very end, but I want to cook mine out. So in goes my spring onion. Okay, in goes my little baby cauliflower florets. And again, I just showed you how to do that. So they're dead easy. And what I've got to do now, I've got to cook this. It's going to take about 3 to 5 minutes, I guess, just to make sure that they're nice and tender and not bony when we're eating it. So we'll just give it a stir through or a toss through. I can lastly put in my diced carrot. I will literally just have to stir fry this now, guys, until the cauliflower becomes a little bit more tender. Like I say, everything's chopped up nice and fine, so it shouldn't take too long. I've still got the wok really high, guys. I've not got it on pulse. I've got it on number 9 at the moment, which is the highest it goes without the pulse. Again, I'm getting that colour on the onions, on the carrots, on the spring onion. And I don't want to add the oyster sauce or the soy sauce until this is nearly cooked. If I start adding it to it now, what's going to happen is it's going to start to char and burn. There's sugars, natural sugars in the soy sauce, and definitely the oyster sauce. If you want to, and I don't think I need to, at this point, guys, if you wanted to, you could literally just get a handful of water. Now, it might sound silly that I can't hold water in my hand, but just literally a handful of water and just splash some water in. What that will do, it will create steam, and it will obviously help the cauliflower cook and the other veggies. But you can see there's plenty of moisture coming off of this now with all that steam coming up. So just keep things moving. Just every now and then, just let it sit for a second, just to try and get that little bit of charring going on. But I think it's changing, it doesn't go transparent. You can tell, you know when cooked cauliflower just looks creamy white rather than white. That cauliflower now is starting to go that creamy white colour. So I know that it's nearly cooked. But I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to give it another minute or so before I start adding in my seasonings. Okay, just a little tiny pinch of salt at this point. Just a little bit, so obviously I'm putting soy sauce and oyster sauce in here. Now what the salt will do is start to draw out that extra water, which will help everything kind of steam a little bit as well. So just a tiny pinch of salt at that point. Okay, now I'm going to add just a pinch of sugar. So in goes just a little bit of sugar, not too much. I don't want it to be sweet. Light soy sauce. And some of this fantastic oyster sauce. There's about 2 tablespoons, I guess, going in. Now if you're going to add your spring onions in towards the end, you want to start thinking about adding your spring onions in now, guys, if you just want that little bit of crunch. Let's just check the seasoning on this. I might add a little bit of white pepper in a second, just for a little bit of background heat. So just see, I've got a couple of bits of small florets there. Lovely. So just for a tiny little bit of background heat, guys, we're going to add a little bit of pinch of white pepper. Heat goes off. Tiny sprinkle of sesame oil. Again, just for that nutty note at the end. And hopefully, guys, if you're doing this at home, you're going to serve it either with some cashew nuts or some crispy vermicelli, which will make it super lovely. Just getting all those little square little nubs off. And there we have it, guys. My cauliflower yolk sung. Again, I've just sprinkled a few cashew nuts over the top of some of that vermicelli, and then that one will be ready to go. I'm going to leave that there actually. I'm going to take one of these lettuce leaves, grab me a spoon. And just to make it look prettier, guys, I'm just going to trim the edges. We used to cut these with scissors in the restaurant, just to make them look a little bit more pretty. I'm not going to waste it. We will eat that in a second off cam. I'm going to grab me some cauliflower yolk sung, and this goes straight into a lettuce leaf. Realistically, guys, you'd have at least 2 of these each. So there's cauliflower yolk sung, sprinkle cashew nuts, and all you do with this, guys, you wrap this up like a burrito, and you take a bloody big bite. So good.